Hi, my name is Kim Michelle. This is my practicum overview with the Virginia Department of Health Office of Health Equity Partners in Prayer and Prevention, also known as P3. The P3 is a faith-based coalition that focuses its outreach efforts in the partnerships between marginalized communities, faith and interfaith organizations, local agencies, and the state public health agency. As discussed with my mentor, Veronica Cosby, it was determined that my role during this internship with P3 would be to identify a public health issue and explore that issue within the Virginia Commonwealth. And determining that public health issue that was found in Virginia, I would then create a toolkit, a faith-based toolkit, and aim the toolkit towards diminishing the disparities found in those communities in Virginia. Next slide. During the course of my practicum experience, I participated in a variety of activities. The first being participating in a few community conversations held by P3, where we discussed several public health issues and discussed them with members of the community at an African American History Museum in Virginia. I've also completed trainings, participated in public health-based webinars, completed a needs assessment for the Virginia area and the surrounding communities, had weekly meetings with the mentor to discuss the overall practicum project, which was the toolkit, and also developed a toolkit over the course of the practicum. Next slide. During the duration of the practicum, I attended two community conversations. The first was a health and wellness, building a culture of health within the community. There were guest speakers, fitness instructors present, and they all spoke about creating a culture of health and a culture of accessible health within the community, making it convenient for people to go exercise, being able to exercise right in their community, close and comfortable. The second community conversation I attended was an Our Future, investing in the health of our youth, making sure that we educate our children and making sure they reach a high level of education so that we can so they can make healthier choices. Within these two community conversations, I was able to observe how programs were designed, how to coordinate these types of programs, how to recruit guest speakers, how to secure a venue for the event, and also to just observe how the flow of the intervention went, how from setup to the ongoing conversation, how to conduct the program, as well as leaving the participants with a clear message of health. Next slide. During the course of the practicum, Ms. Cosby, my mentor, also found it important for me to attend trainings and webinars during the practicum. The training that I attended was becoming an effective communicator in public health, and it focused on avoiding pitfalls while facilitating meetings, the different communication styles, how to present data, and how to build a plan of action. I also attended a number of public health based webinars. For example, the first one was the workforce rounds that identify strategies for telehealth communication, just different strategies for implementation of telehealth, and also a rural versus urban youth webinar that just explored the differences between the two and the not so differences between the two. Next slide. During the course of the practicum, I also had weekly meetings with Ms. Cosby, my mentor. We discussed the practicum project weekly, how I was developing the project. She gave me a variety of resources to pull from to aid in developing the toolkit for the youth. Also provide assistance and moral support over the course of the practicum. Next slide. Between going to the community conversations and attending webinars and the trainings, I was also working on the Practicum project, which was my toolkit. As a medical school teacher, I teach medical science, and I found it important that my Practicum projects surround the kids because they were what I saw every day, and I want them to be as healthy as possible. And I noticed that they weren't as active. They talk a lot about playing video games, staying inside, and I felt it necessary that they have a toolkit, something in the community that's easily accessible so that they can become more active and have healthier choices. Once it was determined that adolescents would be the focus of my practicum project, Ms. Cosby then decided that it would be necessary for me to complete a needs assessment on the Richmond area so I can get a feel for what type of things they would need in the toolkit. The things that I found out about Richmond, Virginia, was that there was over 30% of the youth in Virginia had obesity, which was a relatively high number. Also, only 30% of today's youth were eating the recommended daily servings, and only a quarter of adolescents were getting 150 minutes of exercise per week. Once the thorough needs assessment was completed, I also felt it necessary to survey the students that were going to be targeted for the toolkit because I felt it necessary that their input be impressed upon the recommendations for the toolkit. What was interesting about the surveys was that the students reported having gotten the daily recommended servings of fruits and vegetables, and the majority of the students selected 30 minutes or more exercise per day, but when it came to the actual suggestions that were put on the surveys, a lot of the recommendations were let's have a gym close by, let's have community centers, let's have fresh markets, let's have less fast food in the neighborhood. So the students were aware of what they lacked and what they needed. So it kind of made me think that they didn't actually get the recommended daily servings and didn't get as much physical activities as they actually put on the survey. Next slide. So once all of that information was gathered, I was able to put together 5 recommendations for a toolkit for my practicum project. The first recommendation was for faith-based organizations to implement a physical activity group class events specifically for their youth members. Make sure they cater to the likes and wants of the youth. Recommendation 2, start a mentoring program to educate the youth and also show them that they have love and support system within the faith-based organization, something that's outside of their home and outside of school. Recommendation 3, partner with the school to provide cultural appropriate health education classes to educate students on choosing healthier options, and also once they actually get money of their own to choose healthier options and purchase healthier options and cook healthier options. Recommendation 4, start and cultivate a vegetable garden, a vegetable and fruit garden within their ministry, something that the students can tend to with the help of the advisors, of course. And recommendation 5, create a healthy eating program within the faith-based organization so the students can see that it's not just them that need to eat healthier, it's also the members of the organization that also need to eat healthier. The final portion of my practicum project, which is the toolkit, I will be presenting the toolkit within a community conversation that will be happening in May. Thank you for your time.